Good afternoon, sir. My name is Maureen. I'm doing a demo for my stage 5 task. So basically, I'll just be going through all my endpoints and how each of them work. I have the authentication, the login, the register, and then the users, get users, post, that's to create a user, edit a user, get user by ID, and the delete. So I'll be using Postman for this demo, and I would like to say the way I implemented my authentication and authorization is that to be able to get any info at all, you need to be a registered user, right? I did a role-based authentication, so I have two roles. I have the admin role and the general role. Now, to get users, to edit users, and to get user by ID, you need to be a logged-in user, a general user. But to be able to create a new user or to delete a user, you have to be logged in as an admin. So that's the basic flow of the project. So I'll just be going to Postman now. Now, the first endpoint, which is to get all users, like I said, you need to be a registered user, but I'm just going to run this first so we can see, and you can see we don't have any result. It shows a 401 unauthorized. Now, I'll quickly create a user. I'm going to create a user that we're going to use to access uh, all the user info. So sorry, I'll just quickly copy my registration model from here so I can use it in Postman. So I'll just paste this here, change this to JSON. So now I'm going to create a new user. Let's say Elizabeth. The last name is Michael. The user is Lizzie at example.com. Then the username, also give it Lizzie M. The password, say Elizabeth at 01, and then the role, I will give this a role of general. Now, okay, sorry, I didn't get the request URL. I click on send. Once I send this is my response. So I have a standard response format where I have the status code, the success boolean, and then error messages if they are available, and then the result itself. So for this we have a status code of 200, is success, there is no error message, and this is the ID of the user that has just been created. Now I'm going to log in with this user so that I can generate a token to be able to access all the users. So I'll just quickly copy this model also and then use it in Postman. So if I post this here, I change this to JSON, then Lizzie at example.com. First of all, I'll just enter a wrong email so that we can see um, how the authentication works. I also entered the wrong password. So I'll just enter the URL, the login URL. And when I click send, it gives me a status code of 404, and it tells me this email does not exist, cannot be found. So if I write the correct email now, I still have a wrong password, and I send it, it says invalid login. That's how I implemented it. So now I'm going to enter the correct password. And once I enter a correct username and a correct password, it gives me a success message and a result. Now in my result, I have the user details, I have the user ID, the username, email. This is my token. I also have the claims, a list of claims here, claims for the user. We have the name ID claim, the email claim, the GTI, UID, and then we also have the rule. I mentioned earlier that I have two rules, which is the general rule and the admin rule. So you can see here we registered Elizabeth as a general user and is reflecting in the list of claims. So basically I'll just copy the token right now, and once I copy that token, I would use it to get a list of all the users. So I'll just enter token here and I click on send. Now you can see we are able to access a list of all the users. Now this happened in 698 milliseconds. In order to show you that I also implemented the caching, I'm going to run this request again, and it's going to take a significantly smaller amount of time, because this way I implemented is that all users should be cached in the Redis database for 10 minutes, after which to be refreshed. So once I send this again, you can see that the time has come down to 88 milliseconds. So basically it shows that our caching is working properly. Now the next endpoint I would like to showcase is the create user. Now like I said, create user can only be done by an admin user. So if I try to create a user, let me get the create user request model so that I can just use that. So this is the detail I created for creating a new user. Now basically we have all the details we need to enter, and I'll just create a new user. Let's say Susan Chair, female, single, address, let's say Kuala, city, let's say Abuja. Then I'll just leave the date of birth as what it is. So if I click on send now, it gives me an unauthorized. Now I'm going to input the authorization for the general user. Even so I'm going to use the token for the general user, right? So when I enter the token, I get a 403 forbidden, which says the request is legal but the server is refusing to respond to you. So basically this is because only an admin user has the right to create a user. So what we're going to do, I'm going to quickly log in. I already created an admin user before now, so I'll just log in with that admin user. I'll send my request, and you can see the token has been generated. If you come down here to the role, you see it has a role of admin. So I'm going to get the token. Once I copy the token, and then in my create new request, I enter this token and I send my request. This time around I have a status code of 200, success. So it shows me Susan Chair, the ID is 1004, blah 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 blah, and that is that. So basically that's how the authentication and the authorization works. It works for this role is a role-based authentication and authorization, and only the admin user can create or delete. Okay, let's quickly run a delete so you can see. We're going to delete this user that we just created with the ID of 1004. So once I see a delete, so the delete takes in an ID, let's say 1004, and then the authorization, I'm going to use that. Then I click on the send, and you can see we have successfully deleted user. So that's basically that for my stage 5